Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started here, we'll need to go through our obligatory risk disclosure. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with that. And just to kind of remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future instrument, security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk. The company's partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk, not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, guys, we're going to look at an economic calendar, but the that I normally would look at seems to be maybe by some sort of AWS outage of some sort. Okay. So kind of looking at something that I normally don't look at, but here we are. All right. So see here, get to my scroll. All right, so we're on Tuesday. All right, so we have some industrial production reports coming out. We have some capacity utilization. We have a home builder confidence coming in at 10 a.m. that has the potential of impacting the markets. And then we have a Fed member speaking here at 10:30, I believe, Eastern time. But I think excuse me, the biggest event that everybody is waiting on is the minutes for FOMC that's going to take place here at 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Okay, the FOMC minutes always has the ability to impact the markets. And then as we move into the end of the week, we have initial jobless claims. We have existing home sales. Some leading economic indicators that could impact the markets. Okay, so I would say the jobless claims and home sales are probably going to be some news events that has the potential of impacting the markets. And then we close out the week with PMI. All right, PMI at 9:45 Eastern, and then we have some Fed members speaking. And then we have consumer sentiment closing out the week of news here. Okay, so again, as the week progresses, the news becomes more, I would say, more impactful by the day. All right, tomorrow being, I would say, one of the bigger news events with the FOMC minutes. Everybody's on pins and needles to understand exactly what Feds are going to do with interest rates. Okay, whether they're going to relax them or hold the line, and that should always has the impact of impacting the markets. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at our trading platform here. We're going to take a look at not the S&P, but we're going to take a peek here at the gold market. All right, so we're going to go ahead and expand this out. Just maybe pause here to make sure that it is indeed visible to everyone. Let's see, just gonna expand out. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open up the daily chart. Good morning, Anthawil. Okay. All right, so looking at the daily, you can see in the gold market that we seem to be in some sort of range, right? The moment we think that prices may falter lower, we reverse, right? The moment we think that we might go higher, we reverse. So here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the ADR for a moment, and we'll maybe bring this back live later. But you can see here that we are, again, coming into an area where we could expect to see maybe a little bit of buyers potentially stepping back into this market here. I'm going to go ahead and mark this area in green. All right, indicating that there's maybe a fair amount of interest. We're getting some reaction away from this area, but the market has been, as you can see here, a little bit in range. The last time the market rallied was around this level here. Okay, maybe as low as 39.50. And the highs here around, or the current reaction we're getting right now is around 40.35, maybe as low as 4,000, right? It looks like we got priced to reach 4,000 before we got some reaction away. Okay. So market does appear to be in some sort of range. Okay. Market of late has not been all that trending, a gold market in particular. And you can see here that it appears that we are developing something in the way of some sort of triangle pattern, consolidation pattern. Okay. So, we seem to be, hovering on the low end of this trend line that I've drawn here on this triangle pattern. And the idea being is that as we get closer to the apex, then that's going to generate some sort of move in either direction, right? The question is, which direction is that going to be? Is it going to be to the upside or is it going to be to the downside? We have evidence of both, right? Every time we made an attempt to go higher, that's been met with sellers. When we've tried to go lower, areas where we see evidence of buying has caused buyers to step back into the market. So it's difficult to say right now. All I can say right now on the daily, it appears that we are in some sort of range. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. I don't need two of them, so we'll remove one of them. And we're going to turn this off here for a moment. So you can see, right, we got a little bit of maybe a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern underway in the gold, right? So we have, right, we got this one engulfing candle, right? We got this candle coming down, a little bit of an indecision candle, followed by an engulfing candle. Now we follow that engulfing candle with a developing candle that looks like it wants to get above this 9 EMA, and should it succeed, well, that would spell good news for those that are bullish, right? Because that has the potential of leading us back to the highs here. Okay, so we have it'll be interesting here to see over in the next hour or so, hour and 15 minutes, how this 4-hour candle will close, whether it closes as bullish as it's currently. If so, then and if so, we can get above 4,100. I would say that opens the door for price to maybe revisit some of these highs here around 4,200. Okay, so while we are still in some sort of bearish structure in the gold on the 4-hour, we're starting to see maybe some evidence that maybe there is a change of sentiment here to some degree. Okay, on the 4-hour, looks like a market may be turning a bit away from bearish to slightly bullish, and maybe continue in this kind of range that we've been talking about on the daily. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart again is giving us more evidence that the market is looking to maybe head higher today. Okay, we technically did not break the range here above 40. Let's see, what's the high here? High of 40.49. Okay, and then we closed here at, what was that? 48.8. Okay, just under. And now we have a developing 30-minute candle that is looking to maybe potentially challenge this area of some resistance that we see here on the left-hand side, right? So I see 40.80, right? I see 40.80 as a possible area of some resistance, okay, to this market. Would not surprise me if we stalled here a little bit. So we're going to modify this green candle to, or green set of lines to red, okay, indicating that this is serving as some sort of resistance zone, okay. If we manage to get above that, like I mentioned, I think that opens up the door certainly to 4,100, and possibly back up to the highs here at 42. Okay. So again, if we're just looking at this, at these set of candles here of late, right, you can see that we are kind of developing a little bit in the way of some sort of bullish structure here. Okay. Right. So that's something to make note of. We have price above our 9 EMA, price above our VWAP, both indicators that maybe price will potentially head higher. Okay. We'll take a look here now at the fixed range volume profile. We'll see where price is in relation to Monday's price action. All right, so here we are. Oh, that's not where it is. Let's back up a couple of candles. There it is. And drag that all the way to the close. And you can see that we are back inside value, right? So we made an attempt to reverse away from value area low only to find buyers. Okay, so would not be out of the realm of possibilities here if we revisit the highs here at 40.83. The top end of this value range is 40.82, 40.82.3, somewhere in that range. And that's already been established as an area of potential resistance. Okay, so we have a little bit of confluence here with that location. So it would be reasonable for me to think that we will make it at least up to that level before we see any sort of, a loss in momentum in bullish price action. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look and see what the various sessions did with this market. We'll start off with the Asia market, okay, and see whether they were bullish, neutral, or bearish, okay. So we'll open up, let's see, Asia here, okay, click OK. So you can see initially Asia was a bit on the bearish side, right? So we got a nice little extension, okay, nice little extension here to the downside, right? I'm going to go ahead and remove this here so that maybe make it a little bit more visible. I'm going to stretch this out here a little bit. Okay, so you can see that price, right, extended to the downside, came back to VWAP and 9 EMA, which is a natural location for continuation trade, came back, found some sellers, and we extended all the way down to the 200% extension of this initial balance. London came on board and basically said, thanks for your view on this, but our view on this is not quite as bearish. Okay, we are going to take the market back higher. Okay, so we got a break of the 9 EMA here and the break of the VWAP, and off to the races we go. Right, we got a break above the initial balance range. Again, we come back to test the VWAP, right? And now we are in some sort of what appears to be a sustained move here to the upside. Okay. Now the question now becomes, will price offer us, at some point during the session, maybe an opportunity where it revisits a level like this, okay, a prior area of what was resistance becoming supportive, right? That area right there, say at 40.50, 40.49, somewhere in that range, that could be a location. And this is going to be maybe an alert that I set for myself. If I'm looking to go bullish on this market, that is a natural level. This whole range between initial balance high and this level that I mentioned would be a logical location to see a return of the bulls, okay, if price is to fade, okay. Right now, as much as I'd like to be a part of this, I can't take part of this without managing my risk, because right now I would have to risk quite a bit just for a move that I would say would be naturally to reach this level above, right? I would have to risk this entire candle potentially for a move that would take me back to 40.80, and that's just way too much risk for that opportunity. So with that in mind, since I'm risk first and profit second, then I need to wait for some sort of pullback, right? I need to be patient and disciplined and wait for some sort of pullback in this market. So I would say again, we had Asia took this market to the downside. London so far has taken this market to the bull side. Well, one down, one up, the definition of range, right? We are in some sort of range, but we seem to be in the bullish leg of that range. All right. So headed into the market, I would say neutral to bullish. Okay. Until we get some sort of break in structure that would indicate otherwise. All right. Let's go ahead now and move into the crude oil market. Okay. Crude oil market. We're going to go ahead and start off with the daily. Okay. Daily, similar kind of look and feel. Again, seems like we are stuck in this bearish channel, all right, to the downside, right? Nothing really indicating that we've actually, maybe are looking to break some structure here to the upside. We seem to be in very content in remaining in this range between 60 and 62, okay, or maybe as low as 58 here, okay? So let's go ahead and remove some of our drawings here just to kind of look at this a little bit more closely. You can see here, this is the bearish channel that I'm talking about here, right? We are very comfortable, very satisfied in remaining inside this channel to the downside, okay? Overall, if I'm looking at this from left to right, you can see that we're still trending to the downside. We've gotten maybe some indications that maybe bulls have kind of stepped into this market here a bit, but they haven't been able to make any new highs in this market. They haven't been able to break any significant structure to the upside. So until that happens, right? I have to err on the side of the bears. As much as I'd like to be a part of this to the bullish side, I need more evidence that the bulls have the resources to continue to drive price higher. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're kind of just zooming in on these daily candles. We're going to remove our initial balance range here just to take a kind of a closer look at this. We'll collapse this here because it's kind of and we're just zooming in on these candles here. Okay, so you can see here, right? Over the last, I don't know, looks like a week here, right? What has price been doing? Well, it's just been ranging, right? I don't know about you guys, but this is not an easy range to be trading here. So we've ranged on the top side 60.52, bottom side 59.37, and just ranged in this kind of price action over the last almost week here. Okay, last few days of trading. All right, so nothing really indicating here as to direction, right? We're getting wicks on both ends of the candles. We have not broken any structure. The only structure that we have that it really hasn't broken yet is this bear structure. We're still trading inside it. So I would say that sellers are still very much in the mix here. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. You can see that maybe we are getting maybe a little bit, in a bullish swing of a market that remains in range. You can see that price is above our 9 EMA, is above our VWAP, is above our things that we care about from on the bullish side. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look here at our fixed range volume profile and see what the where price is in relation to that. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and start off with the this here and drag this to this area right here. And you can see that technically all this price action that we are saying that's bullish, well, we're just back to where we started from on Monday. Okay, so we're back inside the range. So the question now becomes, the same people that drove price lower, okay, are they going to allow price to continue to work against them? Or are they going to come into this market right around this 60 level and restore sort of the general direction that we've been in, and that is to the downside? You can see that over the last series of candles here on the 30-minute side, we're not advancing as rapidly as we advanced in the middle portion of this swing, right? We see that maybe we are losing a little bit of momentum here to the upside as we approach this 60 level. Okay, so 60.15 for me on this chart is, if I'm bullish, is going to be relatively important to me, right? So this area right there, I need to see price get above and hold that level in order for me to really embrace the longs. Otherwise, my anticipation is that we are maybe going to come up to this level and potentially stall and reverse, because we are, as you can see, a bit extended away from VWAP, right? And we don't stay extended away from VWAP before the rubber band wants to come back and recoil back to VWAP. Okay, so interesting level again. If you're a range trader, this is probably a range trader's paradise, because you basically fade the extremes. You're short up here, long down below, and just you get in this market has offered you a good amount of ability to do just that, right? Every time we come down to 59.30, we find buyers. Every time we come up to 60.40, we find sellers. Very, a very good range that we could continue to trade. Not my style of trading, because I like to be more of a momentum trend, more of a trend-based kind of trader. But I can see how this could be a benefit to some. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance and see what kind of what the markets were able to do with this market here. Okay, we'll start off with the Asia market and see what Asia did with crude oil. Well, similar to gold, they initially were bearish. This offered us a very nice extension away from the initial balance range. You can see here that we extended to the downside, pulled back to IB low, and down to the 100%, maybe 150% extension of the initial balance range, made for a very nice short trade. Okay, in Asia, London came along, and again, similar to the gold, London came along and said, I'm not really embracing this business about continuing to hedge lower. We feel that maybe this might be a good area to maybe add to our positions here with respect to longs here. Okay, so we found again price exceeding our VWAP and our 9 EMA, and then basically holding that levels ever since. Or now, obviously, we're kind of challenging here at the moment currently, but again offered us a nice little extension to the 50, maybe to 75% extension. Okay, so it'll be interesting for me, right? Again, we have this current candle developing a rather bearish. Okay, whether price is able to hold this level here. Okay, this is the high end of initial balance, right? Whether it can hold that level. We just got the open of this market. We just closed below the 9 EMA. So that could potentially lead us to maybe an opportunity that will lead us lower. I would say that the line in the sand that we need to see is that price needs to get below, let's say, this initial balance high, as well as below this VWAP. And if so, then we could see a full rotation of price all the way down to the lows. If not, then we have the potential of holding VWAP here, holding IB high, and it offering us maybe a rotation or continuation trade to the upside. Okay, so we're kind of at an interesting level here, or interesting juncture here in the crude oil. Does it hold above IB high for London, or does it close below VWAP and inside the range for London, which will open up the door for the possibility for price to rotate all the way through the initial balance range. Okay, so headed into the session, again, we've seen that crude oil has been in some sort of range. We need to focus our attention on the extremes of this ranges. Right now, it seems like maybe some sellers have potentially stepped into this market. Again, I have a level here to determine whether I want to continue to stay bullish, right? Because I've already gotten some evidence that maybe this is stalling, or whether I want to entertain the thought of witnessing a move back to the downside. So I'm going to call it for now. I'm going to call it, since we did close below the 9 EMA here, I'm going to call it neutral to bearish. Okay, even though we're not 100% there yet, I think I still need to see some more evidence that the bears do have control of this market, because this could be simply a pullback to VWAP for a continuation move to the upside. Okay, all right. Let's see, where do we stand here on the so again, before we move on to the NASDAQ, guys, so there's a few ways that you can encourage me to continue to do these sessions on a daily basis. One is, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Okay. Give me a like. If the analysis that I've provided so far has given you some insights on how to approach the markets. If you're not if you haven't hit the notification bell, smash that notification bell. Okay. If you have not left a comment or two on my portal on how this analysis has supported your trading, leave a comment. Okay. That's all we're asking you to do. Right. And then if you feel so inclined, there is also the super chat. If you want to contribute to my coffee fund, that's a way that you can support me there as well. Okay. All right. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ here as we see crude oil kind of make its move lower. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ. All right. We just had some earnings yesterday in NVIDIA, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how those were received, but looking at the daily. All right. So it looks like, again, if all I had to look at, guys, if my charting platform only provided me these set of candles, I think everyone here knows the answer to this, right? We seem to be developing some sort of bearish structure to the downside, right? Price is below our 9 EMA, which is, kind of probably not something we'd look at on the daily, right? But nonetheless, you can see that we are in the process of making lower lows and lower highs, right? Now, as we kind of shift over to the right, right? As we shift over to the right, we get there is some shadows, right? There are some indications that buyers are present because are we not entering an area where buyers have maybe aggressively bought this in the past? Are we coming into an area around 24,500, right? That where buyers have maybe participated in this market to the bullish side? We have, right? So right around between I would say 500 and 600. I would say this entire area here, okay? This entire area to me seems supportive, right? I'm looking to the left, and what am I finding? Well, here are some candles indicating historically in a not so distant past, last month, this was some people felt this was a bargain, right? And they drove price to the upside. Okay. Now the question: are the same buyers? Are they still around? If they're still around, the expectation is that maybe as low as 24,300, maybe 24,000, maybe 24,300 could offer me a location for the market to reverse from these levels. Okay. Now, if I'm a seller of this market, I might want to tighten up here a little bit, right? Because I'm coming into an area. I'm basically coming into a bar. I'm coming into a bar full of bulls. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm coming into a bar where I have my opposing participants around, I might want to be a little cautious when it comes to my shorts here, right? Okay, so that's kind of what I see on the daily chart. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're kind of hovering around this level. We still, again, there's no doubt in my mind that we are still in bearish structure. Okay, we are technically inside bearish structure. We're below our 9 EMA. We are seeing maybe a little bit of a slowdown in the move to the downside with these last couple of 4-hour candles. But the question remains: can price get above 24,250? Because if it can't get above 24,250, right, then that's an indication that the bears still remain in control of this market. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and again, you can see, right, the sharpness of the move to the downside has slowed. Yes, right? Really sharp here in the beginning, right? Really sharp to the downside here, right? Talking Monday midday, right? Really sharp to the downside, coming into the tail end of Monday and into the overnight, not as sharp, right? Not as sharp, right? We are headed lower, but looks like maybe we might have found some buyers here. Why do I say that? We made some lower lows, right? Lower lows, right? But now we're starting to make some higher highs or higher lows, right? We closed here at the lows, did not manage to make a new low. We made another attempt to head lower, did not manage to make a new low. So I don't know. Are we starting to develop maybe some interest here in anticipation of maybe some sort of news that could be favorable for another potential rally in the market? Time will tell, right? But right now, I'm starting to see that maybe we are developing a little bit of a demand zone right around this 24,675 level. Okay. And if we are able, if we do manage to get above, say, 24,830, right? Yeah, might be getting ready for NVIDIA on Wednesday. That's certainly a possibility. And also we have a FOMC minutes coming in on Wednesday as well, right? That could potentially shake up the markets, assuming that they relax the interest rates in some way, right? So it'll be interesting, right? Right now, it seems like we are beginning to come into some sort of range here. Okay, right? We're coming into the range that maybe it starts to create a situation where we head higher now. Okay, right? What I don't want to see, if I'm a bull, I don't want to see price fall below 24,620. If I see price close below 24,620, my hypo is horribly wrong, right? I'm not reading the market correctly. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see what other additional insight that this is going to provide me. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and start off with the open of the session on Monday. Okay. And drag that across to the close. There it is. Well, technically, if I base my decision just on the value range from yesterday, well, where am I? Price is below value from yesterday, indicating that there's a fair amount of interest. People are not necessarily shying away from adding to their bearish positions, right? They're paying a little bit of a premium to participate to the downside. Now, is it to the level where they are breaking down doors to do that? No, not at all. On the contrary, we might be starting to see that maybe we're starting to see some buyers nibbling, okay, nibbling at these levels and seeing, maybe testing the waters for the possibility of price reversing, not necessarily adding to positions to the downside. Okay, let's take a look now at the various sessions. Again, we're just kind of peeling away the onion here, right? We're just kind of reviewing various things to help us arrive at the context of the market. Okay, so right now, based on the volume profile, based on yesterday's value range, we still remain bearish. Okay, but I'm not going to take a look at Asia. What does Asia feel about all of this? Well, Asia is aligned with that bearish view. Asia was the main reason that we headed lower. Okay, we had a nice break of the initial balance, and then we reached the 200% extension of that initial balance range. Okay. Now, coming into London, London is a little bit more, I would say, looks like a little bit more indecisive, right? They don't know where to take this range. They remained inside the initial balance. They seemed content in remaining inside this consolidation range. So while Asia is, their view is maybe it's going to head lower, London is not so sure. London is kind of waiting for maybe some additional information. Maybe they are waiting for that NVIDIA report to come out. Maybe they are waiting for that FOMC minute to be posted. Okay. So London, not giving us an indication here. So I would say that headed into the session, unless we're able to break above or break below some of these ranges that are established in London, I would say that we are neutral in this market at this point. Maybe bearish to neutral. Okay. From a bearish market to a neutral market is kind of what I'm thinking of at this moment in time. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES. All right, we'll look at the ES. I'm assuming the ES is going to give us a lot of the same look and feel. Okay, again, looking at the daily chart. Well, what's the general direction? The general direction is down, right? Similar to what we saw on the NASDAQ, right? Again, just looking at these set of candles, everybody in this room, I would think would agree that we are in some sort of bearish structure to the downside. Now, Are we coming into some areas where we could find some support? Absolutely. 6,600 supportive area, okay, in this market right here. All this area is support, right? Can buyers step into this market? Absolutely. Okay. Right now, but we still remain in some sort of bearish structure. Okay. So if I'm a bear coming into, again, an area of demand, maybe I want to start maybe tighten up my stops here a little bit if I'm holding positions, right? Because there is the possibility that we could reverse from here. We can get down, maybe down to 65, 70, and then find the same buyers that drove price over here. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the 4-hour chart, kind of zooming in on these daily candles here. We're going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance range here for a moment, and we're going to take a look and see what this has to say. Again, similar kind of view. We remain in some sort of bearish structure. Price is below our 9 EMA. Price is below our VWAP at 9 EMA. So again, 4 hours also indicating some sort of bearish structure. Okay, coming into an area of demand. All right. Now, question now again is, can we reverse this tide? Okay. I'm not going to be the first one to do that. I'm going to wait for some evidence. I'm going to wait for price to get above the 9 EMA. I'm going to wait potentially for price to get above this 67.75. Okay. Before I maybe turn toward more bull view of the market. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute. Okay, 30 minutes seems to be kind of coiling down below, right? Kind of consolidating down on the low end of the market here, right? Right around this 66.40 level. Has been supportive in the past, continues to be supportive now, but we have above us 66.80. We have not been able to break above 66.80. So again, what are we doing? We're coiling, right? I don't know. You might look at this as a descending triangle, right? I don't know. I see this. Now, is this the bottom end of the triangle? Right? This is kind of what I'm seeing, right? So if this is a descending triangle, what is that telling me? Well, based on the triangle alone, if there is nothing else in the way, I would say that market is looking to go lower, right? Especially if we can break 66.40, 66.45. Okay. All right. Let's open up the fixed range volume profile. Let's see where price is in relation to Monday's price action. I think we probably know the answer to this question, but we're just going to go ahead and confirm it anyway. Okay, here we are. Price is below value. Folks are willing to pay a premium to participate in this market to the downside, right? Price, this is the value range, low end of value. Was not good enough for people. I demand lower prices, and price went lower. Okay. Let's take a look at Asia. Start off with Asia and see where Asia took all of this. Okay. And see. All right. So Asia, again, similar, right? We got a nice extension to the downside, 200%. And then similar to what we were saying with the NASDAQ, London seems to be a little bit indecisive as to where to take this market. They made an attempt to go lower, was not well received, right? We got some buyers to kind of step into this market. However, the buyers have not really come in force, right? Again, they just managed to get us back into this balance range. We still remain below our 9 EMA. We still remain below our VWAP. Market sentiment still remains bearish. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So again, similar view that I have for the NASDAQ also applies to the ES. Bearish to neutral. Bearish to neutral, right? Until further notice, right? If I start to get prices to break above some of these indications that I have on my chart, first thing I need to see is price above my 9 EMA. Second thing I need to see is price above my VWAP. And then ultimately, I needed to break 66.80. If it can't break 66.80, I have no business in looking at longs, right? I should continue to support the view that market is looking to head lower. Okay. All right. Let's take a peek here at the Dow. I suspect the Dow is also giving us the same kind of look and feel, right? Again, looking at the daily chart, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. And you can see on the daily chart, we continue to show signs of weakness in this market. Okay. Coming in again to an area where we could find some support here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and mark some of these areas here. I'm just looking for evidence of buyers. Okay, I see evidence here of buyers right here. This candle in particular is giving me evidence that there are buyers in this area. Price drove down, was not able to make a new low. What did it find? It found some buyers. Price is coming to this level again. Is this 46,000 level? Is this going to offer us a bounce of this on this market? Right? Is this going to offer a bounce? Right? Are we going to see a bounce on this level, or maybe even a little bit lower? Right? One of these levels, is it going to offer a bounce? I don't know. Right? If I knew, we probably I wouldn't be talking with you guys. Right? I'd just be following my plan here. Right? But right now, I do see that would be a logical area where we could see potential reversal. All right. If I'm short, it's hard for me to add to my shorts. Okay. That ship has sailed. Okay. If I'm going to be participating in a short now, I need some sort of pullback. I need some sort of indication, a better location where I can manage my risk. Maybe back up to, I don't know, 47,000 from underneath. Okay. That would be a logical place where I could maybe, participate, but I need some sort of pullback. And if I'm going to participate or continue to participate to the downside, looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay. 4-hour chart, again, similar view, similar look and feel. Market is continuing to look to go ahead lower. 46,000 is down below here, 4630. It could be an area where we could see a reversal. Notice that we have a 200% extension of this. Is this London, or we're still looking at 4-hour? We have a 200% extension down below here at 45,641. That would be, again, another logical location to see price potentially reverse. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute. All right. 30-minute chart. Okay. We're going to take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to, again, confirm what I already think I know. And that is that folks are willing to pay a premium to be a part of this market to the downside. Okay. There it is. Right. We made it. We broke below the low end, came back to that low end, did not manage to close back inside it. They rejected value, and they said, you know what? We're willing to pay a premium to continue to drive price lower. Market continues to show signs of weakness. Taking a look at the fixed range volume profile here. Not fixed range. We're going to take a look at the Asia session. Sorry. We're going to take a look at initial balance. All right. Initial balance, again, similar to what we saw, right? Similar to what we saw in the other markets. We see that we got a nice extension away from this initial balance range for Asia. We came back to that same level. And what did we find? More sellers. London came along. And they said, I'm not sure. Let's see what London has to say. London is also in agreement. Okay. So London is also in agreement with Asia. So I would say the Dow is even looking even more bearish than either the ES or the NAS. Okay. We have two extensions to the downside. We have this 46,000 level down below, which for my humble opinion is probably a target. Okay. To this current price action that we're seeing. All right. So I would say we're full blown bearish on the Dow as we head into the session. Okay, 46,000 would probably be my first location. I'm going to be seeing if we can actually continue to break and make new lows. But yeah, 46,000 does appear to be maybe a location where we could potentially see a target for current price. Okay. All right, let's make one final pass across the various markets. So we see here gold is rallying, okay, while equities are falling, which is correlated, right? When we see maybe some weakness in the markets, the market participants run to safety, and they run to instruments like the gold. Okay, so gold is showing some signs of strength. Crude oil. Right? Crude oil was initially showing some signs of strength. Now I don't know if it's come back to an area to add to their longs for another leg higher. Okay, that's a possibility, right? They drove price to an area where they can manage their risk to drive price higher. but the market has been in some sort of range. So I'm just going to continue to say range. And then across all the various equity markets, okay, we're seeing some signs. We're seeing some signs of bearish activity, okay, but we have not made a new low in the recent past. All right, ever since the maybe the start of the overnight session, right? We kind of been in some sort of range, right? So it'll be interesting if we are able to hold above 24,600. If not, then maybe there's more downside. And the same is true for the ES, also showing some signs of weakness, coming into some sort of range. 6640 is my line in the sand. And then the Dow seems to be outright bearish, okay? Not really ignoring what the Nasdaq and ES have to say and say, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to greener pastures here. The grass up here is not good. The grass down here is far better. That's where I'm headed, okay? Bearish, okay? Overall in the Dow, okay? All right. Let's see if there's any questions on any instrument. I'm happy we have about a few minutes remaining before the close. Use this again as another opportunity to encourage folks to hit the like buttons, hit the subscribe buttons, hit the notification bell to be alerted of when I'm maybe doing this kind of analysis in the future. Thank you, Vamonos. Yeah, leave me a like, post a comment or two in the portal, subscribe. All these things are positive things to encourage me to provide this content to you guys on a daily basis. Okay. So if there's no other questions, no other requests for instruments, we'll go ahead and close off this session as people are exiting the doors. Okay, and getting ready for their maybe potential ORB opening range breakout trade in the equities. We'll close this session as we close all sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll catch up again soon, if not earlier. Tomorrow, I should say. We'll catch up again tomorrow, if not earlier. All right, guys. Have an excellent day trading, and we'll talk again soon. Yes. Vámonos. Right? All right, guys. Have a good day. Stay green, and we'll talk again tomorrow.